The Black Forest, a cultivated landscape that's centuries old. Nearly every tree was once planted by human hand, but now people are being told to stay out. Baden-Württemberg state government wants to establish a national park in the northern Black Forest. 10,000 hectares of virgin forest are to be created here. Nature is to be left to itself and access limited for residents and tourists. Many are angry. Yes to a forest, no to a national park. Resistance is growing in the affected communities against their own minister. Heading the push for a return to nature is Green politician Alexander Bonde. He thinks people and business should take a back seat to increased biodiversity.
Our tourism experts have discussed this and informed you about it at 150 meetings. The region has had many opportunities to have its say.
Many don't want a national park. They want their Black Forest as it is and say all the Greens want is a prestige project.
You talk about an open process, but you're just making fools of us.
Irate citizens versus nature protection. Feelings are running high. Small sawmills in particular fear for their future. Alfred Finkbeiner is the fourth generation of his family to earn a living from timber. Until now, his capital has been 80 to 100-year-old Black Forest fir trees. The Finkbeiners see a national park at their doorstep as a threat.
We can't get any wood from a virgin forest, and we have a lot of healthy trees in the forest here. We have a forest that's been cared for, reforested and managed for generations.
The negative consequence is that we have to transport timber from far away, and that's going to cost more. And we can't absorb those costs.
Instead of managed forests, conservationists want a real wilderness. Their message to politicians is that a national park offers the best chance for endangered species. They're putting pressure on the Green state government. It wants the national park and feels supported by a report that says a park would benefit both animals and humans.
The report confirms that the national park adds value to the regional economy, that it has clear potential for tourism, service industries, crafts and commerce. We take the worries of the sawmill industry very seriously, but the report shows a very small amount of timber is involved.
In the future, thousands of trees would no longer be felled, including those suffering from diseases. Forestry scientist Wolfgang Taschupke fears that could provide a veritable feast for pests.
The moment people stop managing the forest, especially no longer taking measures against bark beetles, for instance, after a storm, when trees are blown down, the beetles will multiply massively. We'll then have much larger areas of dead trees, like the one behind us.
A national park full of deadwood? Conservationists don't view that as a fiasco, because deadwood is the best place for biodiversity.
We expect all sorts of fungi to come back. Bird species that depend on structures like these will return, and of course a great number of insects. We're absolutely certain that about a third to half the species in forests live in areas where trees are dying or decaying.
A paradise of dead wood for insects instead of a nice, tidy black forest? Luxury hotel owner Meinrad Schmiederer says pristine nature isn't enough to attract well-heeled tourists. He thinks a national park with limited access, decaying trees and plenty of beetles could be a flop for people in the hotel industry.
With that kind of national park, we wouldn't have any special attractions where guests would say, "I have to go there and see it." That's how we get tourists who stay the night. We need tourists who come and spend 3, 4, 5 or 7 nights and then visit the national park as day trippers.
At the Finkbeiner sawmill, there was no contradiction between forestry, timber, and human activity for 111 years. The national park could change that.
I have the impression there are too few people here, so no one listens to us. We need people looking for recreation, not a national park where they have to keep to the path and can't stray to the right or the left.
Alfred Finkbeiner is convinced the northern Black Forest should stay the way it is, a mature landscape cultivated by humans for humans to enjoy.